Hello, this is Todd Shank from Premier FPL. I'm going to be doing the Game Week 13 FPL tips here. Um, so I think that we're finally past all of the international matches for 2018, finally. Get really sick of all of the interruptions, so just glad that we've gotten through that. Unfortunately, one of the worst parts is all of the injuries that take place during international breaks, so uh, definitely have that to still deal with for this week. Anyway, I think the areas that I'm going to start out with is just kind of a review of how my week was for Game Week 12 a couple weeks back, and then going to be taking a look at some of the options moving forward. And again, if you listen to the Game Week 12 tips, I'm still in line to use my wild card. Probably, depending on how things shake out for this week and next week, Game Week 15 or Game Week 16, will be using my wild card. Anyway, so I do have it. Still have my Game Week 12 through 20 fixtures difficulty ranking here. Take it for what it's worth. Basically maps out what the fixture difficulty is. And then I do have it ranked based on the scoring for which teams have the most difficult or the least difficult matches coming up. So this is a Game Week 12 through 20 ranking, and then I also have the 15 through 20. The 15 through 20 is the one primarily targeting prepping for the holiday period, getting everything set up for that, with the idea that you're going to wild card either Game Week 15 or Game Week 16 to prep for that. The one thing to remember is this Game Week 15 and 16 is a back-to-back. So Game Week 15 is a midweek match here, Tuesday and Wednesday matches, and then Game Week 16 is right away on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday matches. So definitely keep your eye out for that. The matches are starting to come much quicker here, and not a lot of time for rest for players, which is part of why I really don't like the international breaks at all, because most of the best players are going to be playing for their international teams, and it gets really annoying. All right, anyway. So let's see. Here we go. This was my team for Game Week 12. Ended up with 59 points, so 11 above the average. It was enough to see some small green arrows, a couple red arrows, depending on which leagues I was in. Overall, did see green arrows for my overall ranking. I'm not entirely happy with my team. I brought in Ross Barkley on a whim, I suppose you could say. Mainly, he had that run of form where he's doing really well, and thought their fixtures lined up great for him to keep kicking on, but he ended up not really being able to do so. Basically, I brought him in Game Week 11 here, right after he had those 3 big weeks there. I really thought that he would do more against Crystal Palace and even against Everton here, his former side. Now they have Spurs and Fulham, and I would really like to ditch him, meaning that he will probably do well, scoring a couple goals in both matches. So, the big one is the Spurs match. I do think that that's going to be a little more difficult for them. Otherwise, Chelsea do have a great run in all the way into January even. So, not really planning to drop Alonso, but I'm looking at bringing in Hazard into my midfield with my wild card, just thinking ahead there. The big busts were Barkley and Duffy picking up 1 point each. I thought that Brighton would do much better against Cardiff. They ended up losing the match, which really hurt me. Quite disappointed with that. Even the Mane 3 points wasn't great. I thought Arnautovic would do much better in their fixture against Huddersfield. Instead, the 1-1 draw really kind of hurt there. Pereira, same thing. I really did think that these teams would do much better in these matches. You know, Watford against Southampton. Southampton not doing well, but still managed to pull out a draw in that one. But fortunately, I did have Salah and Robertson come through. Aguero getting a goal. Alonso being able to pick up a clean sheet bonus here. So those are the ones that really helped carry me forward. Anyway, so looking ahead, this is my team for now. I would really like to move on Barkley and even Fernandinho. The main reason I brought in Fernandinho was to strengthen my bench. Boy, when was that? That was a while back. I don't even remember who I brought him in for, but needed somebody that was going to score some points in there since I had a couple players that were yellow after. That's the Salah Mane yellow after the last international break. Brought in Fernandinho to kind of give some strength to my bench there, but that has not worked out all that great. He's a solid player, brings in 2 points, but would have been a better pick than Barkley for last week, definitely. So, anyway, moving ahead, looking at the next game week. So we have game week 13 here to look forward to. Now, since I'm targeting kind of the next 3 game weeks, trying to, if I can, I would like to do just 1 free transfer this week. That way I keep the 2 for next week. So that way, prepping for game week 14 would have 2 free transfers going into there, and then 1 free transfer to game week 15 to see how my team's doing. If the players are looking okay at that point, I will probably hold on, just use the 1 free transfer. Since I do have, Burnham here with Wilson, still have my Liverpool players against Burnley. So it could still work out pretty well there. But looking ahead here for game week 13 and game week 14 and even game week 15, I'm going to target 2 specific teams. We'll see if it actually works out. But the 2 teams that I'm targeting here are actually Everton. I know they're down here at the bottom. That's primarily because of this Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, and Tottenham matches that you have coming up here. Makes it difficult for them, but the reason I'm targeting Everton and then Wolverhampton is because of the kind of the handcuff between the 2 teams. Everton playing Cardiff at home game week 13, then Wolverhampton traveling to Cardiff. Cardiff's done better at home this season, but I'm still hoping that Wolverhampton can at least pick up a clean sheet in that match, maybe even score a couple goals. So if you look at this, so Wolverhampton against Cardiff, then game week 15, Everton against Newcastle, and then game week 16, Wolverhampton at Newcastle. So they're basically both of them playing Cardiff and Newcastle. The difficult part is Wolverhampton playing Cardiff and Newcastle away, but it is still Cardiff and Newcastle, and I think that Wolverhampton is definitely strong enough that they should be able to hold them off, at the very least picking up clean sheets. Alright, so looking at some of the players, obviously pretty easy. Look through the total scores. I would say the thing that I like to look at the most is the value form, taking a look at their past few matches. Pickford, a good pick here. So if you're going for a wild card, he's not a bad one to bring in. I'm not sold on him. I would rather have a 4.5. I like my goalkeepers as they are, to be honest. The other thing that you can look at is West Ham. If you would rather do... let's go back here. Game week 12. So if you would rather do a West Ham Everton, that would work out well. West Ham have great fixtures after they face Man City this weekend. So after that, definitely hold on to any West Ham players that you have. Valbuena, Obiang, not a bad choice in there. So, all right. So looking here at Everton, the players that I am targeting personally is Richarlison and Digne. And the reason that I brought this up here, I want to take a look at some of these stats here live while we're looking at this. Richarlison has 6 goals, even though he did miss the 3 matches with the red card. I had him to start the season, ended up dropping him with that red card. So not a bad time to bring him up. Let's look at the shots on target. Go to Everton. Shots on target for Everton. Richarlison has 10. Now, Gifford Sigurdsson is another interesting one to pick. I personally would avoid Theo Walcott. He has never impressed me, to be honest. Trying to avoid him. Now, Digne and Keane, these are the two. 5 shots on target for Keane, 3 shots on target for Digne. Those are the two that I'm really thinking about looking at, just because of that reason. They are 2 defenders that in these matches definitely have a great chance for a clean sheet, as well as a possibility of getting a goal. Now, the reason I'm targeting Digne is because he's 4.8 and on a 2.5% ownership. Now, his ownership is starting to climb. So I think more people are jumping on with Digne, but I'm still happy to join that bandwagon and pick him up as well. Again, I do have this arranged by form, so Keane is the better in-form player, but it only 0.2 less. Digne is a nice option in there. The issue for me is if I do want to get Richarlison in, I will definitely have to transfer use my 2 free transfers for the week. Don't have enough really, because I'd like to hang on to Mane and Salah. If you look at them, they do face Watford away. I think they can get some goals in there, so not really looking to drop Mane or Salah, which leaves Pereira or Barkley as the player to be dropped. So could look at dropping like Barkley, Fernandinho to bring in Richarlison, and then look at somebody else after that. So yeah, I just say the ones you're really pretty good here, even with Mina, but at 5.4, that's a little too high. The only thing he has going for him really is this 0.6% ownership. Still, I'd rather have Digne, Keane, Richarlison, or Sigurdsson. Mix and match in there, pick up whoever you want. Now, with Richarlison, he's a midfielder that's playing forward, so it's interesting because if he gets those goals, he's going to... if he's playing forward, he should be able to get the goals. But as a midfielder, he's also going to pick up any clean sheet bonus, which definitely will help out your team. We'll also get those creative points if he's involved as well. So I would say Richarlison over Sigurdsson, but that's completely up to you. Sigurdsson is a bit more of a differential just because of his percentage here, but he is more expensive as well. All right, the other team then is Wolves. Jimenez is starting to really go up here in his selection, mainly because of his 5.8 price tag, and he's starting to score more goals. If you look here, 3 goals, 5 assists, 2 assists in their last 2 matches, including this goal against Tottenham. So the thing is, they're doing it against some of these top teams. Arsenal away managed to pull off a 1-1 draw. That's why I really think that they are a good shout coming forward here. You can even play them here in Gameweek 13 and 14. So you could have a back line with Digne, Doherty, and not really have to worry about the next 2 weeks. Cavallero is another one that's starting to show himself. 11 points last match, starting to play a little bit more frequently. Now the problem is 61 minutes is the most that he has played so far. So that's really a concern. Don't want to get struck with somebody who's only going to play 14 minutes. But if he's starting, it looks like he should play at least 60 minutes. definitely something of a differential. Well, not something, definitely is a differential. 5.2 is a decent price for a midfielder at 0.2%. So that could be a possibility of looking at for me if I were to, if I can find my, if I were to, say drop Barkley and Pereira, I think that should give me just about enough for Sigurdsson, or Richarlison. Anyway, let's move back here. So Jimenez, Cavaleira, if you really want to take a punt on him, that'll be a good one. But I'm definitely going to keep Patricio. My goalkeepers are currently Patricio and Fabianski. Might as well go ahead with that swap before I forget. That's one of my biggest issues, is forgetting to make my transfers. I should probably do them live, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Alright. Doherty has dropped off the last couple of weeks, hasn't been quite so great. Bennett is still a really good one here. Basically, since I picked up Doherty, he has really dropped off. I got him right after this Crystal Palace match and has scored only 4 points since then. Bali has been the defender who has picked up more points since then, but even he not doing all that great. Bennett as well, just the 2 points here. So defensively, they're not really looking that great. I might hold on to Doherty. Actually, now that I think about it, he might be the one that I drop out for Digne. Well, yeah, that's not really going to work, is it? To drop him for Digne. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe this will be the week that I actually take a hit. It's been one of my goals to not take a hit, but it just might be something I have to do. Anyway, defensively, I'm not too excited about any Wolves defenders. At 4.2, Bennett is a decent look there. He's not really getting a whole lot of points. The clean sheet bonuses. So if you're really sold on them getting clean sheets, Huddersfield should be able to keep a clean sheet. I mean, honestly, against Cardiff and Newcastle, they should be able to keep clean sheets as well. But I guess you never know what'll happen. I'm going to probably just end up hanging on to Doherty and look at moving in Digne later on, just because of the way that my price points are at the moment aren't great. So we look at this kind of, so plop in Richarlison here. That gives me 5.6. That should be enough. So that should give me enough. I could bring in Caballero if I needed to. Yeah, not sure that I'm really quite ready to do that. Like I said, the issue with The issue with Digne is at 4.8. I don't really have the funds. It would be a straight swap for Doherty, and that would mean I couldn't bring Richarlison in. And I would much rather have Richarlison in my team than Digne. I think Richarlison has a much better chance of getting those points. So it looks like looks like I'm leaning towards just making maybe that one change for this week with Richarlison coming in. Oh, sorry. It looks like I'll be making my moves in the midfield with Richarlison coming in. Now, I had the other one that I was thinking of doing is bringing in Martial. That would definitely require going a lot lower in terms of a midfielder. Looking at even somebody like a Brooks. I'm definitely regretting my move for Barkley, since I did have Fraser and he's really kicked on. He's been a very consistent player. Definitely recommend hanging on to him, even against these teams like Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool. Like Bournemouth has shown that they can hang with a lot of these top teams. So I'm not advocating that you drop somebody like a Fraser or a Wilson. Hang on to them, especially if you had them early. Really wish that I had hung on to him. Um, I was able to get some value out of him with the move for Barkley, but not really as much as I had hoped because Barkley hasn't really risen in value since I picked him up. Um, all right, well, I think that'll just about wrap it up. Um, I'm still debating what I want to do as far as captaincies go. Aguero away, that's usually his kryptonite, if you will. So most likely I will go with Salah as my captain. Um, I'm not really the Maverick type to go with somebody outside of that. Wilson against Arsenal could definitely see some goals there. But yeah, not really looking at doing something quite that Maverick. So yeah, I would say that Salah is probably the best bet as far as a captain goes. Kane has Chelsea at home. Um, I'm not. I don't know. I'm still considering whether I want to bring in Kane or not. Uh, my biggest concern with him is just how little rest he has been able to get, and he has not looked great at all this season. He looks very tired, if you ask me. I don't know. He seems to do well over the Christmas period over past years, so it could prove me completely wrong, but he hasn't really been scoring goals to this point, at least not the rate that I would expect him to. I don't. He's scoring enough goals here, 6 goals already, but I don't know, I would expect someone like him to be up here closer to 8 or 9 goals.